Welcome to the S.A.M. podcast, episode 4. Hey guys, it's me, Samson Abraham Miller, back with the S.A.M. podcast. We're on episode 4. I am sorry for the inconsistent schedule, but I just started college. I've got a lot going on, but I have some movies, comics, and trailers to review for you all. And just, stuff to talk about. There's a whole bunch of drama going on with movies and comic books and all that good stuff. So first, most recently, the new Creed 2 trailer came out, and I thought it looked amazing. I thought it was much better than the first trailer. The first trailer was alright. It wasn't bad at all, but it didn't really get me hyped like this one did. This one, it shows you Adonis training with Rocky. You even see more of Ivan Drago and his son Victor Drago, who Adonis is going to have to fight. Michael B. Jordan is, I think, one of the best young actors working today. I think he is an absolute movie star. I'm excited to see Stallone back as Rocky, and I'm excited to see Dolph back as Drago. And I forgot his name, but the new kid playing Drago's son, Victor Drago, he looks good. He looks the part. He's probably going to be like Ivan Drago in Rocky 4, where he's not going to have a lot of lines. He's just going to be standing there. He just needs to look big, intimidating, and he needs to hit hard, and it looks like this guy can do that. And I think the last act of this movie, the third act of this movie, is going to be bonkers. I am a huge fan of the Rocky franchise. I loved Creed. Creed was one of my favorite films of 2015, one of my favorite films of this decade. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I was glad to see Tessa Thompson back. She's also, her career's, she's going places. I think she's gonna be in a few more blockbusters like, Thor films, other Marvel films, more Creed films, and then, maybe she'll start performing in Oscar caliber films. I think the same can be said for Michael B. Jordan. Also, something I noticed is in this trailer, Bianca, Tessa Thompson's character, and Adonis have a baby. And I think it's going to be, kind of a parallel to Rocky and Adrian having a baby in Rocky 2. When they had their kid who eventually, played a bigger part in Rocky 5 and in Rocky Balboa. And he was absent for Creed, but I thought that was all right because he didn't really have a place in the story, and I thought a big part of Creed was Adonis becoming Rocky's kind of surrogate son. Rocky at that point in Adonis's life was probably the closest thing he had to a father, since he never knew Apollo before Drago killed him back in Rocky 4. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. My prediction, pain. Alright, moving on to the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2 trailer. I think the title is fucking terrible. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I think that has a bad title. I cannot wait to see movie theaters try and fit that entire thing onto their marquee. I thought Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was a bit much, but this is something else. I guess they could just call it Fantastic Beasts 2, but still. And the first movie, I liked it when I first saw it in theaters, and I recently rewatched all the Harry Potter films, including Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I found myself liking it a little bit less. I think his name is Jacob Kowalski. Dan Fogler's character is by far my favorite in this Fantastic Beasts prequel era of the Wizarding World, as they call it. I thought he was very interesting, and his memory was erased at the end of the first film, and then he sees Goldie, and something kind of comes back, and I kind of hope they don't just ignore the fact that his memory was wiped at the end of the first one, which I feel like they're going to do. I feel like they're just going to, ignore it. I actually auditioned for this movie. I auditioned to play young Dumbledore. They were looking for someone, I think, ages 16 to 20 years old. This was before Jude Law was cast, but I think this is for even younger Dumbledore, for like teenage Dumbledore. But yeah, I auditioned for that role. Obviously I didn't get it, or I probably wouldn't be podcasting about it. I'm excited to see Jude Law as young Dumbledore. I hope they, explore his homosexuality, because for years J.K. Rowling has said, oh, Dumbledore's gay. And I think that's great that, such a major character in the Harry Potter franchise is gay, but, it's never shown in any of the books or movies. And I think if you're going to, for any creators, for comic books, movies, whatever, if you're going to say a character is this, the character is that, then show it. Like when, I think it was John Kasdan, I might be mistaken, who said Lando Calrissian was pansexual. They didn't really show that in Solo: A Star Wars Story. I mean, kind of with L337, but not really. There was nothing there that really made me think, oh, well, Lando isn't just heterosexual. And the Fantastic Beasts trailer looked pretty good. Fantastic Beasts 2. I loved the Thestrals. I loved all the familiar spells. The Elder Wand. Seeing... I really... My favorite line in the trailer was when someone said to Newt Scamander... I almost said Newt Gunray. When someone said to Newt Scamander... something like, there's not a monster you can't befriend, and then they cut to Grindelwald. And I thought that was a really great line. That was by far my favorite line in the trailer. Now to the things I did not like about the trailer. Grindelwald as a character, I think he's alright. I mean, he pops up here and there in the Harry Potter universe. My main problem with Grindelwald is Johnny Depp. Now, for those of you who don't know, Johnny Depp is a piece of shit. He beat his wife, Amber Heard, who is also a famous actress, and I don't want to support a film with a guy like Johnny Depp in the movie who beats his wife and doesn't face any real consequences for it. I think it's disgusting, and I don't know if J.K. Rowling has any control over that, but if she does, shame on her. Really, shame on her. And I was praising J.K. Rowling on Twitter the other day because she was, railing on Jeremy Corbyn, who is this leader of the Labour Party in Britain, and he said all kinds of racist, anti-Semitic bullshit. And, she was calling him out, and I was like, wow, that's awesome, go J.K. Rowling. And she's also written some of my favorite books of all time, the Harry Potter books. But this is, I'm really not happy that Johnny Depp is in this movie, and I will not be seeing it, I will not be paying to see it in theaters if Johnny Depp remains in the film, because I just can't support a movie with a guy who beats his wife. I mean, I think Johnny Depp is a great actor. He's been in movies I like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, but had I known, back then when I watched those movies that he did what he did, I wouldn't have watched them. Also, with Fantastic Beasts controversy, it was revealed that Nagini, Voldemort's snake from the other films, is an actual woman, a human woman, an Asian woman. And a lot of people are pissed off because Harry Potter, the franchise, and the movies at least, are notorious for being mostly white with like 2 or 3 black or Asian speaking roles scattered throughout the films. And even then, they hardly have any lines. Like, I know there's Kingsley in the later films. There's Dean, who's in a few of the movies and has a few lines. There's Cho Chang in Order of the Phoenix. But yeah, and people are pissed off because, they finally have a person of color with speaking lines, or I'm assuming she's going to have speaking lines, and she's turned into a literal snake who embodies part of the soul of a character who is heavily influenced by Nazis, real world Nazis. And I really understand why people are pissed off. And yeah, I think that we should wait until we see how her storyline plays out in the movie. But knowing just what we know, I think it's a little messed up. I do like that there were a few Jewish characters in the last Fantastic Beasts movie, but there really needs to be more. I have the same problem with Lord of the Rings. I cannot think of a single. I think I can think of only one speaking character in the Lord of the Rings franchise who is not white, and that is Lurtz, the leader of the Uruk-hai from Fellowship. I know he's played by a black actor, but come on, one guy and he's an Uruk-hai. Like, you got to do better than that, especially in a movie trilogy that's like 12 hours long altogether, if you count the extended editions. There might be more, but there aren't any big ones, and I think that's pretty sad. And I know Amazon is doing like a remake or whatever of Lord of the Rings, which I'm not happy that they're doing, because I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy are 3 of the best films ever made. But if they are going to do it, I really hope that they add some non-white actors into either the Fellowship or, I hope they have some non-white actors as major characters. Moving on to more controversy, because, controversy. So this is an episode of controversy, episode 4 of the S.A.M. podcast. We're going to talk about Mel Gibson, who I think I hate more than Johnny Depp. He is going to be writing and directing a remake of the classic Western The Wild Bunch. And for those of you who don't know, Mel Gibson is a racist, sexist, wife-beating piece of shit. He has said terrible things about Jews, terrible things about black people. He's beaten his wife. He's abused her physically and emotionally. And I absolutely will never, ever support one of his films. And it's abysmal to me that he's still getting movie offers from studios that, they're saying, oh, hey, yeah, direct this movie. Oh, be in this kids comedy with Mark Wahlberg or whatever. I don't get it. Like, and people seem to be fine with it. People are fine with, this racist, wife-beating piece of shit directing movies. He was nominated for, I think he even won a few Oscars for Hacksaw Ridge a few years ago. Why? They banned James Franco from the Oscars, I think last year, for The Disaster Artist because of some sexual misconduct allegations where there was no evidence. I don't know if he did it or not, but I'm just saying there was no evidence to prove that he was innocent or guilty, and he was, kicked out of the Oscar race for Best Actor. And Mel Gibson, where it's been proven that he is a racist, wife-beating piece of shit, gets nominated for Best Director or whatever he got. And yes, he's talented. He's very talented. But talent doesn't mean you're a good person. And I want to support movies with good people in them. Like, my local theater was the only theater in the entire country to play Kevin Spacey's new film on opening day. There's no fucking way I was going to pay to see that movie. With a rapist like Kevin Spacey? Absolutely not. So yeah, I'm going to, obviously you choose if you want to see movies with actors or directors like Mel Gibson or Johnny Depp, me personally, I'll stay away from them. More controversy. This is our third major controversial topic of this podcast. We are going to talk about the new film, The Predator, directed by Shane Black. I saw this movie last week with a friend, and it was shit. It was terrible. I liked one part about it, but I'll get to that later. So, the plot follows a predator coming to Earth, and we don't really know what he's up to, but he's looking for something to build on. The predator's collection of things that they take from other planets in order to build themselves and adapt, kind of like the Borg, I guess. And you have Olivia Munn's character, who's a scientist, and they bring her in to work on the predator, and meanwhile, there's this group of Suicide Squad-esque soldiers who have all these, PTSD problems and whatnot. One guy has Tourette's, and, they're in a bus, and eventually they team up with Olivia Munn to help kill a predator. And there already was a bunch of controversy that I actually was unaware of before I saw the film, where an actor who was friends with the director Shane Black, who had attempted to lure his 14-year-old cousin into a sexual relationship, was in the movie with a scene with Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn said she didn't want to be in a scene with him when she found out about, what he did, what he tried to do, and Shane Black and the studio didn't do anything about it, because they didn't fucking care. And once Olivia Munn spoke out, then the studio cut the scene. Thank goodness. Because I didn't want to watch a scene with the fucking scumbag in the movie. But besides that, throughout the entire movie, all of these Suicide Squad-like buff macho guys in the bus, these ex-soldiers, are saying misogynistic and sexist things to Olivia Munn. And it serves no purpose to the story unless they were trying to go for comedy. And I did not think that worked as comedy at all. I think everyone in my theater was just cringing every time, someone said something stupid and sexist. I hated it. I really didn't like it. I thought some of the action was alright. There was a scene where there's a predator killing a bunch of people in the lab. It sort of reminded me of the Darth Vader scene from the end of Rogue One. I did like that. There was one really cool shot in the opening scene where there's blood dripping on a cloaked predator, and it looked very cool. I liked it. And the one thing I loved about the movie was what they did with Jacob Tremblay's character. I didn't necessarily like his character, but, Jacob Tremblay is a national treasure. That kid's going places. But Jacob Tremblay's character has Asperger's in the movie, and there's a scene at the beginning where two very unrealistic bullies knock over chess pieces from a chess table, and he's able to memorize where the chess pieces were, and he puts all the chess pieces back, right? And they do that, they bring that back later in the film where he has to memorize the Predator's password or whatever. And the Predators want him not because of his disabilities, but because of his extra abilities that he gets from Asperger's. And as I'm a very strong advocate for the disabled community, and I thought that was great. I thought just Jacob Tremblay's storyline was really good. I liked it a lot, but the rest of the movie sucked. There was one line in the movie where I think it was Olivia Munn's character says, "He's growing an exoskeleton under his skin." And my friend and I turned to each other and we just lost our shit. We couldn't stop saying it, on the walk home from the theater. I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe that was actually put in a major Hollywood studio movie, and it passed. It wasn't supposed to be comedy. Sometimes they have stupid lines like that meant for comedy. I don't think they were trying to go for comedy. No one was laughing, except my friend and I, who were laughing ironically. So another movie I saw, this one I actually really, really liked. It was called A Simple Favor, and it starred Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. And it's this postmodern noir murder mystery film, and I thought it was amazing. I really liked it. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick were great in this movie, and I mean great. I liked them both a lot. Their performances were nuanced, incredible. Blake Lively plays this femme fatale kind of character. She sees herself as kind of socially superior to everyone else around her, and Anna Kendrick's character was my favorite in the movie. She's also the lead, but she is this soccer mom who follows all the rules. She's goody two shoes. She always helps out in her son's classroom, and she has her own vlog on this fake YouTube website because the studio couldn't get the rights to YouTube, and I thought that was really cool. But there's also a layer of darkness to Anna Kendrick that you kind of get senses of at the beginning, and then they explore it. It gets explored deeper later in the film. Their performances were probably my favorite part of the movie, and just the style. It has, Paul Feig directed this film. It has such a unique style. Henry Golding, I think the actor's name is. He plays Blake Lively's husband. Her character's name is Emily. He plays Emily's husband, and I thought he was very charming, very smooth. I know he was just in Crazy Rich Asians, which I've yet to see. I really need to see that movie. I've heard great things about it, but I've heard people say before I saw this movie that Henry Golding should play James Bond. He would be the first Asian James Bond. And after seeing this movie, yes, I think he would be a great James Bond. I think he'd be a great James Bond. I think Idris Elba would be a great James Bond. I think there are a lot of good choices for him. And I think after Daniel Craig's done with his Bond run, then, this MGM or whatever they have a very wide variety of actors to choose from if they want to recast James Bond. But yeah, the movie has this incredible style. I love the opening and ending credits. They reminded me of old 40s noir film credits, and how they have this kind of soft edge, I guess is the way to put it, to them. Yeah, and Blake Lively surprised me because the only movie I had seen her in was in Green Lantern, and we all know that piece of shit movie. And she played Carol Ferris in Green Lantern, who in the comics becomes Star Sapphire, but they didn't go into that in the movie. But yeah, I like this movie a lot. It hasn't made a lot of money, so if you haven't seen A Simple Favor, go see it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. I thought it was wonderful. I'm probably going to see it again maybe this week. And on to comic book reviews. I read a few comics today, but the two we're going to focus on are Heroes in Crisis issue 1 and Poe Dameron issue 31. One DC, one Marvel. We're going to have it perfectly balanced, just as Thanos would like it. So starting off with Heroes in Crisis issue 1, written by Tom King, who worked on Batman Rebirth. I thought, well, we got to discuss the controversy about it, of course, because this is the episode of controversy, but a lot of people were not looking forward to Heroes in Crisis because they teased the death of a major character, and people didn't want, to see their favorite characters die. The way I see it, DC and Marvel pull this shit all the time. They're going to pull this shit again. It sells. People buy it. And I didn't hate Heroes in Crisis issue 1. I thought it was well written. the art was very good. I really like the art style of this particular comic. Booster Gold had a really, really nice scene with Harley Quinn in this kind of diner at the beginning. I really liked seeing Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman just discussing things without being stupid. And there is a character who dies in this who I think everyone knew was going to die. But there are other characters that I don't think anyone expected to die. And I think people are going to be pissed off about it. But let's be honest, DC is going to bring these characters back eventually. I mean, they're not going to stay dead for long. I doubt they'll even stay dead for the remainder of this event, this Heroes in Crisis event. But yeah, I think the Booster Gold Harley Quinn storyline of this issue was my favorite. Yeah, I think before you rush to judge it, I'd say pick it up, read it. I don't think it's a bad comic. I think it's good. I wouldn't say it's good. It's certainly not bad. It's not a poorly made comic book. And I think it's worth your money. I think try the first issue and see how it goes. Moving on to Marvel with the final issue of Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron issue 31. It picks up right where we left off after Suralinda was shot and Jessica Pava was with her, and they're shooting off like these First Order terrorists that were clearly inspired by the KKK, and Poe is on the Falcon with Leia, and I think this issue is going to be very important in Star Wars Episode 9, and I hope it's important in Episode 9. I really want Black Squadron to play a major role in 9. I want to see comic book characters like Suralinda, like Kare. I want these characters in 9, and I want them to be badass. I'd also love to see them in Star Wars Resistance. I think it's something Star Wars Resistance needs if they want to pull in that older audience, because I don't think a lot of kids read the Poe Dameron comics. I think mostly adults. It's also more adult than most of the Star Wars comics that are going on right now. But yeah, Poe goes on this mission to this planet to try and save the rest of Black Squadron, and Snap is there, and Jess Pava is there, and there's this epic battle. Poe flies this new ship that kind of looks like an A-Wing, but I'm not sure what it was. I'm pretty sure Matt Martin of the Lucasfilm Story Group said that it wasn't it didn't have an official designation by Lucasfilm yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But the final page of this issue was beautiful. I want to hang it up on my wall. The 31 issues of Poe Dameron were some of the best in the new canon. I think that it's a very underrated series, and that if you're a Star Wars fan, especially a fan of the sequel trilogy, then you should read this. This has like the first full-on conversation between Poe, Rey, and Finn. They have some things, like the last 5 issues or so take place after The Last Jedi, so you get to kind of get some insight into what might happen in Episode 9. You get more General Leia, you get a little bit more Captain Phasma. One of my favorite new characters is this First Order guy named Agent Terex. It's a really good series, and I highly recommend it. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Stay tuned for more. I'll have more Lego videos, more reviews, more this, more that. And yeah, I hope you like, subscribe, comment what you thought about this episode. What can I do better? What was maybe worse about this episode compared to previous episodes? I'm hoping to get more guests. It's hard though because I just moved across the country. I do recommend following me on Twitter. I have a new Twitter handle where I discuss Jewish superheroes. The Twitter handle is Jewish Hero Talks, at Jewish Hero Talks on Twitter. And yeah, I hope you subscribe to that, follow that, and follow all of the Let's Talk guys on Twitter, guys and girls on Twitter. They are fantastic. And really get to learn a lot more about the comic book industry and certain characters that you never would have thought to learn about, never would have, thought would be interesting to you. There are several characters that I really didn't care about until I looked into these Let's Talk accounts. So yeah, definitely do that. Like, subscribe, follow, share, blah, 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 all that shit. I don't really care if you do it, but if you do, my thanks. Also, if you are on Twitch, you like to watch Twitch streams, go follow my boy at Iggy Else on Twitch, because he has some fantastic streams. They're hilarious, they're fun. It's like a virtual water cooler where everyone just gets to stand around, play video games, laugh, love. It's amazing. I hope you are all having a great day. Thank you, and goodbye. See you around, kid.